Hi everyone, I'm Ollie Matthews and this is the Narcissistic Resistance. And this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Lisa. And here's her story. Hi Ollie, hope you and Charlene are well and well done on giving up smoking. You can do it. Thank you. I just wish I could get rid of the shakes and the jitters and cold and then hot and then cold again. Weird. Here's my story for the channel. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. You last did a video for me in February 2017 about my sister Christine, who had been trying to get grandparents' rights to see her 3 grandchildren since her daughter Laura went no contact a year ago. When I last wrote, Christine had just begun to lobby the Houses of Parliament. As an update, it seems that there is little appetite for government to look at this, thankfully, especially since the UK has bigger problems to sort out right now. Yeah, exactly. Brexit, Muslim immigration, they got their own problems, you know. They don't need this crazy bat, skitzing out on the parliament floor. Laura finally called the police a couple months ago because Christine was stalking her and the children were frightened. The police cautioned Christine and she seemed to have stopped, for now at least. If you remember, I come from an extremely dysfunctional family. My covert narc dad lives in Florida with his overt malignant narc wife who accused me of having sex with my father and made my life hell with her threats and flying monkeys for over a year after my visit to Florida in 2015. Christine visited them in 2016 and again last month and now calls my stepmother her new mom. My stepmother has clearly been advising Christine on how to get access to her grandchildren. My sister is not very smart, but my stepmother is pretty intelligent, even for an 80-year-old. Christine has been trying several different ways, including appealing to her ex-husband for help, contacting the children's school, and hanging around the school gates, calling Laura and leaving messages, stalking, setting up a grandparent self-help group, doing media interviews, etc., etc. I think she's being partly directed by my stepmother, probably. A question I'd like to ask you is your thoughts around how this new close relationship will pan out in your opinion. Both my stepmother and my sister are used to calling the shots and historically have never liked each other. They have actively avoided each other whenever possible for decades, and both of them have openly told me how much they dislike the other one. However, since I supported my dad in leaving in 2015 to 2016, she now looks to Christine for validation to back her ridiculous stories about me. I wonder whether my stepmother will eventually discard Christine when she starts to be more demanding. My stepmother likes to be in charge, but then so does Christine. What do you think, Ollie? Any predictions on how this will end? Yeah, you should be encouraging this relationship and watching them tear each other apart from afar. Okay? You got two alpha tigers basically competing for the same slice of meat. They're eventually going to go at it. They're eventually going to go at it because, like I said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So your stepmother, and I believe you gave her the name Piggly Wiggly, if I remember, something like that. She is your enemy. I remember she put this on you. I mean, your dad abandoned you when you were a kid in the UK, bounced to Florida, ended up in Florida. This woman's now accusing you of having sex with your own father. And, this is the end of narcissists, of a narcissist life. I mean, they look for anybody to mess with. So now they're looking for conflict. Your sister's been cut out by her daughter. Obviously, your sister's a nut job. No sense of boundary. Total sense of entitlement. Same thing with your mother-in-law, with your stepmother. Okay, they're gonna tear each other apart. Let it happen. Let it happen. Just watch it, and don't get involved. You don't get involved in a dog fight. Eventually, those dogs are gonna turn on each other, and when it does, just sit back and laugh. Ridiculous stories about me is something Christine willingly provides, as she has been trying to turn people against me ever since I was very young. Yet she was the one with the violent temper, and she regularly attacked me, just like she attacks Laura, which is the reason why Laura went no contact with her mother Christine last year. For a number of years, I have also been gradually reducing contact with Christine since Laura and my cousin told me what she had been saying to the family about me. Apparently, I had an affair with her husband for 25 years, between the years of 1980 until 2005. It appears this happened whenever I visited the family, and that we had sex after she went to bed. For 25 years? Damn, that bitch is a heavy sleeper. It goes without saying that I've known my brother-in-law since I was 15, and he's like a brother to me. I could never even think of him in such a way. It's a great story if you want to simultaneously get people to both dislike me and her ex-husband, as well as take pity on her too. Right, right. It's a great story if you're putting out kind of the narcissist back, if you're calling other narcissist abusers in your life who you don't necessarily get along with, i.e. your stepmother. So those stories get out there and they get to your stepmother, and now it's like a homie, it's like a treaty, it's like a peace treaty between the narcissists. They put it out there. She starts generating it, and it's like floating a treaty down enemy lines to get to the other side. And now she's picking up the coded messaging of, oh, look at this, Lisa has been sleeping around for 25 years, and now Lisa's been, I'm accusing Lisa of sleeping with her dad, and don't think Christine doesn't know that. It's the way the narcissistic enemies send coded messages to each other. That's what this was. This was them sending coded messages to each other that, hey, let's use this on Lisa. Never mind the absurdity of what kind of an idiot would you have to be for your sister to be able to come over to your house for 25 years and bang your husband while you've been asleep, and you had no idea. I mean, come on. I mean, the absurdity of it. The absurdity, like, is somebody gonna well, slow down here. You're leaving a lot out in this 25 years of banging while you've been passed out in the bed. Like, when did this start? How long did you know? Like, how does this happen? How do you not clue in? Like, wow, there's a lot of holes in that story. But it doesn't matter how many holes there are, because the point of the story is to send coded messaging across the Atlantic to Florida to Piggly Wiggly or whatever, your stepmother. Do you understand? Because it doesn't matter who the new ally is, as long as the narcissist has allies. As long as they have people as flying monkeys, they can be flying monkeys to each other and enable each other's bullshit. It doesn't matter how many other differences they've had in the past. Now, once they use up all that Lisa supply, which is going to be pretty short-lived, I would imagine, and Laura's supply, that's when they turn on each other and start ripping on each other, because they can't help it. They can't help it. It will eventually destroy them as well. The gossip that brought them together and the coded messaging that brought them together, they're going to do that to each other and eventually tear each other apart. Let it happen. In July 2016, Christine sent me and 8 members of my family a letter that I still have not read, I'm not sure if I will ever read it. The letter was sent to my mother, daughter, aunts, my dad, and other close family to discredit me. Again, I think this is something that my stepmother encouraged Christine to do, just as she managed to get her flying monkeys to harass me with emails and posts of social media for over a year. But I want to share with you all the narcissist victims out there listening the email that my daughter wrote in response to Christine's 8-page letter. I have never read, but I can only imagine what the contents say given that my daughter was so angry. Enough to write the email below, and given that the police took immediate action when they read it too. Christine, your letter makes a very interesting read and looks as though it has taken you some time to put together. I can only respond for myself despite it being addressed to my mother. I wanted to clarify that our lack of an aunt-niece relationship is a result of your behavior towards every person in my small family who I love. I have seen my cousin, my uncle, my grandmother, and my mother tolerate you for as long as I can remember, and I have been silent with my opinions of you for the sake of the status quo of our family dynamic. It has never been and will never be my place to speak for or defend any of them. I have decided, however, to speak for myself on this occasion. I may have been a child, but just as you remember, rightly or wrongly, your childhood stories, I remember mine. You are not reflected well in them. What I enjoyed above all else about your letter is that it reveals in writing the lies that I know you tell. To hear it from the horse's mouth at last is the confirmation of what I have always known you to be, a liar. I can confirm that a significant amount of your stories, because that's all they are, stories, are not true because I was there. Watching and listening as both a child and an adult, you can tell these stories to all the people who want to hear them, and most of all, yourself. If that's not what you want to do, however, you should be aware that we will be taking legal action as your letter is slanderous. I advise that you try your hardest to resist contacting us, as legally you could be in danger of making things worse for yourself. Lastly, you know nothing about your niece or the relationship she has with her mother. Your niece is an independent being from her mother. She forms her own opinions and responds to aggressive letters intending to damage reputations however she pleases. Do not ever think that you can use her name in your stories. Our family has a history of letting you get away with anything and everything you decide you will do to hurt them because they love you. I will not stand back and watch you try to hurt them, and I certainly will not be a part of the next generation to be dragged into this shit. Your loving niece. Christine used my daughter to back up her false stories about me. As predicted, in her vicious reply, Christine said that the email had not come from my daughter, but from me, even though my daughter wrote an amazing reply. The narcissist still refuses to look at their own behavior and how this has brought about her own downfall. She is now completely ostracized from her mom, sister, daughter, and grandchildren, and all she can do is project the blame onto me. Christine is a teacher, and I suspect she might be worried about losing her job now that she is in trouble with the police for her actions against me and her daughter. Yes, isn't that scary? This dreadful woman has access to children. They always do. They tried to fire her from her last job for hurting a child in the classroom, but she managed to make such a big fuss that the school backed off from the incident being recorded on her file. She managed to get the incident erased and just walked into another job at another school. I hate to imagine how many children she has bullied in the classroom over the years. Thanks, Ali. Much appreciate your insights on this. Best wishes, Lisa. Well, Lisa, the only thing you should do is just watch it happen. Watch it happen, because they have killed off everything and everybody who gives a shit. Your father wanted out. I remember your father wanted out. You had him out. He couldn't deal with it. He's right back. So all they got is their small pack of death and destruction. That's it. That's all they got. And the only thing you should watch them do is tear each other apart, because that's exactly what's going to happen. They have run out of supply, they have run out of targets, and they only have each other. They only have each other, and you have to recognize exactly what that letter was. All that was coded messaging between your stepmother and your sister. Bottom line, that's all it was. And once you recognize that, you don't even have to worry about it. Because what's going to happen is they're going to tear each other apart. They're going to tear each other apart. Sit back and enjoy it. And again, thank you again for another donation and another story, Lisa. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, or you'd like to set up a Skype, private phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video for someone else, or just contribute to the channel, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. And if you're still unclear, wait for the final video link to pop up on this video. That'll take you to the instructional video that'll walk you through all of that. Also, please be sure to like and share this video everywhere you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. This is Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Bye, everybody.